Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Episode 121 of Survival of the Fitted. I am Joe Williams. No nickname, but it's all good because I have a great co-host alongside of me, Mr. Ian Pierno. How are you doing today, my dog?
I'm chilling. I've had a lot of fun this week. Obviously, last week we talked some about the previous LeagueFits Hall of Fame inductees, and by the time this pod drops on Friday, January 6th, the new class, the class of 2023, the first LeagueFits Hall of Fame class in 2 years, I don't know, will have fully dropped. And it's been really fun going through either reminiscing of some memories that like I remember and were so cool, or honestly, like I can't even lie, just like learning stuff. You know what I mean? So it's been a lot of fun. You want to run through the 4 inductees with me real quick?
Let's do it. We got 4 new people getting inducted into the Hall of Fame. This is big news, guys. This is big news.
It is the only sports Hall of Fame that matters, period.
That matters, yep.
So we have the class of 2023 is Dwayne Wade, Sue Bird, Kobe Bryant.
Yes, sir.
And Pat Riley.
This one threw me for a loop. I'm not gonna hold you, because I was looking for players. I was thinking of players, and I seen this. I was like, oh dang, makes a lot of sense, but wasn't on the forefront of my mind.
All right, well then let's start with talking about Pat Riley. It was one that like I know who he like. When you think of who Pat Riley is, like, what do you remember him for?
When I think of Pat Riley, I forget who it was. Udonis Haslem. Udonis Haslem has this quote where he's like, "I don't fear anybody." But like when I first got to Miami, Pat Riley scared me because I watched like The Godfather, and he just scared the crap out of me. So that's the first thing I think of when I think of Pat Riley.
Me too. I always like when I think of Pat Riley, because I'm 25. I think of Pat Riley, the Miami Heat GM. Helped put together the Heatles, et cetera, et cetera. And like I knew he coached like in the 90s and 80s, but like I wasn't like too familiar. Like I knew he coached the Knicks at some point, but I wasn't really familiar with his impact. After doing a little bit of research, because I think that's one thing we've always looked for, right? Is like an NBA coach that dresses really cool.
Yeah.
And it just never happens. We were kind of like, ooh, Quinn Snyder and Steve Kerr wore Vans one time.
I remember that.
Interesting. But there's never really been like a swaggy NBA coach. And then I found myself looking at these photos of Pat Riley when he was the Knicks coach in the 90s. And oh my gosh. And like suits can be boring. Yeah. But suits can also be so cool if you're that guy. So he had like the different colored suits, the ties, like the baggy trousers, the slicked back hair. Like it was so iconic and just like so New York. And I was like, I totally understand why this guy is a legend. And then
I want to know like how much. Oh no, keep going.
No, go. You good.
I wanted to know like how much of that is the look versus how much of that is just strictly like the clothes that he's putting on. Is it all?
I think it's probably a mix of both.
Yeah,
that and his personality. But like that whole what he was so influential. I was talking to Adam Figman, who's our boss, and he's like, yeah, you think Pat Riley's cool now? And I was like, oh my gosh, maybe the coolest ever. And he was like, okay, you need to watch this movie. And the movie is called Wall Street, not Wolf of Wall Street, just Wall Street. It's basically this movie about like Martin Sheen. And he's like he's like a young buck trying to make it on Wall Street. Then he meets this like older, super successful rich guy. I shouldn't say older, but just a super successful rich guy, older than him. Rich guy who's like, basically going to help put him on in the industry. The twist is that the older guy who's like insanely wealthy, he does like insider trading. But anyway, he has like, which is like illegal. But anyway, he has like slicked back hair. He wears like the collared shirts where like the shirt is like stripes, but like the collar is all white. The suspenders, like the baggy, dressy trousers. And Adam was telling me, he's like, yeah, apparently like this character, this like insider Wall Street trader guy was inspired by Pat Riley.
Wow.
And I thought that was just like a hunch, but then if you like look up the movie, it even like says that in the description. Anyway, I watched the first half of the movie last night. I got like so sleepy because I was traveling all day. So I ended up passing out, going to finish it today. But I watched it and then it made me think Pat Riley. I don't know if it made me think that Pat Riley was a better person, but I was like, oh my gosh, this guy has so much swagger. He is so cool. So anyway, if you're like in your early 20s, mid 20s, whatever, like me and Joe, and you didn't get to witness Pat Riley's just swagger as the coach of the Knicks in the 90s, pop on the movie Wall Street, and then I think you'll kind of get it.
Is in the movie Wall Street, is that guy like intimidating at all? Is that guy like a
intimidating
polarizing
as
figure?
shit.
Okay,
Yes.
for sure. Because I always looked
He's
at Pat
like-
Riley and I was like, man, this guy looks like the guy who's like, I'm gonna give you an offer that you can't refuse. Type of, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, yo, this dude's mad intimidating. I could only imagine him like, because did he coach the Lakers or am I absolutely tripping? Like the Showtime League?
Yeah.
No.
He was a coach of the Lakers. He coached Magic.
Yeah. Like, dog, that must be so like just intimidating. I wonder if he still had the polarizing effect when he was younger as he does now. But either way, that's insane.
He was still
Like, I
pretty
kinda wanna watch that
swaggy because I
movie.
was looking at some old photos of him in Magic. He still had
Mhm.
it.
For sure.
But yeah, dude was like in the movie, the dude is like a total shark, right? Like he's like,
Yeah.
I don't know if he's like a billionaire because inflation and shit, but super rich. But anyway, he's basically just like fucking over these other dudes that are like even richer than him, and they like come and yell at him, and like he's the one like intimidating them.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's fire.
He's like,
You
well,
ever
now
seen
that you
Scarface?
brought my mother into this, I actually haven't, bro.
Dang. Yeah, for sure. Probably like the same vibe.
Yeah, I gotta watch that, and you probably combine those two characters, make them a basketball coach, GM, whatever, and you
Yeah,
have Pat
right.
Riley.
For sure.
Yeah, I think of all, I don't know. I was gonna say of all the photos we've been posting and whatnot for this LeagueFits Hall of Fame, I was gonna say his might have been my favorite. I
Well,
think
it's a little
impossible to
interesting
pick a
angle.
favorite.
It's an interesting angle because he's like a coach. He's always on the sideline. So his photos aren't necessarily like tunnel pictures. I think they're like catered towards more of the aesthetic side. Because I think
Yeah.
anything on the sideline it beats anything in the tunnel. That's just like my little hot take for the episode. So I feel like
Mhm.
maybe like that contributes to it a little bit.
Yeah, not just like the location, but like because he's on the side. You know, when guys are walking through the
Yeah.
tunnel, they're usually like listening to music.
In motion, they're in motion. It's like not easy
Straight
to like,
face, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
Because I think like the best, like think about, forget fit pics, but the best sports photos, you know, some of them are like the guys getting dunked on, things like that. But like really, if you really break it down, the best sports photos are the reactions, whether it's like hands in like hands on your face after something horrible happened, like
Mhm.
guys like laying on the ground after a winning shot was hit against them, or like the celebrations or like the arguing and things like that.
Mhm.
And as the coach, like it's kind of your job to be animated and react to what's going on the court. So
That's a
like
good
all these
point.
Pat Riley photos, he's like screaming or like locked into a discussion, and you know that's something we don't really get in the tunnel. You know, it's just straight face, nonchalant, whatever. But these Pat Riley like photos, not only are like these outfits so cool, not only is this look so cool, but like you can like see the emotion and shit behind it.
Yeah, and not to just like go crazy just talking about Pat Riley because we do have other people on this inductee list. But I will say this: I also want to say shout out to Pat Riley for the fact that he kept the look together. Because even though he was animated, he like still had the cool slick back hair at the end of the night. Clothes were still
Mhm.
intact. Because it just makes me think of Michael Jordan's Last Dance documentary when
Yeah.
he was talking about Doug Collins, and Doug Collins would be drenched in sweat and his hair would look all crazy. He'd go into the locker room and be like, let's go, MJ. And like, bro, you look like you got ran over by a train by halftime. But like, you know what I'm saying? Pat Riley kept it together the whole time. So like, shout out to Pat Riley for that because that was pretty cool.
That's a funny point that I totally forgot
Yeah.
about. It's like, yeah, how are we supposed to take you seriously as a coach? You look like a ragamuffin. I don't know.
Yeah, it looked like he picked you up in the parking lot, dog. Like looking crazy. That's crazy though.
Yeah. All right, another guy worth talking about, friend of the pod, of course,
What a
Dwayne Wade.
flex. What a flex to be able to say Dwayne Wade is a friend of the pod. That's such a dope flex. I like that.
I'm not gonna lie
That's so
to you.
cool.
It is a pretty dope flex.
Yeah.
Same deal. It was super fun going through his old stuff. Of course, a lot of
Mhm.
like his like more viral moments were ones that subtle flex coming. We already knew about because we talked to him this summer. But anyway, it was funny going through like some of his moments. I just pulled up LeagueFits on my phone to look at him again. Like, who knew that like Dwayne Wade went through a like fedora phase? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I think probably my favorite moment. We obviously already knew about like the Capri thing, but there's this one game in 2012 where he pulls up to the game. He's just wearing like a white dress shirt and it's tucked into just like pink trousers, wearing like some like Louis Vuitton sneakers, it looks like. And like it's like, I don't want to say regular, but like, it's a chill fit. It's a dress shirt, pink pants.
Yeah.
And but it just showed how important like guys like him played in opening the door for like the Kyle Kuzmas of today. Because the video of him walking into the arena, it's like, NBA on TNT or ESPN or whatever. They're like, hey, yo, what's this dude wearing? He got the pink pants. Da-da-da-da-da-da. You know what I mean? And, that was viral. And like today, that, respectfully, that doesn't go viral, but just shows like, I think part of like picking these Hall of Fame people isn't just like who had the craziest outfits. It's like who played a role in creating LeagueFits and making NBA outfits matter. And outfits like this totally did. And the other cool thing about it, I think, which really made it my favorite Dwayne Wade moment was in the post-game presser. He already knows that like they're talking about his pants. So he walks up, he sits down, and he's like, I heard they're giving me hell in the studio for my pants. And I just want to say that they're mad because they couldn't rock them like me.
They can't
I probably
pull it
did
off.
get it exactly correct. Yeah, because they couldn't pull it off.
Yeah.
And we don't get a lot of iconic LeagueFits quotes because, Fit Picks is kind of what runs our world. So, that's so fire. That's so fire. I watched that video. Oh my gosh. So sick.
It's so dope because I remember like this moment, like actually in real time. Like I really do remember being in middle school.
For real?
And yeah, I did. I don't even know. I wasn't even in tune with clothes at that point, but I just was in tune with Dwayne Wade, right? Like superhero of the culture. And I remember that moment, like the pink pants were like as iconic as like the lensless lensless frames that Russell Westbrook is wearing. Like it all played like a part. And I'm just like appreciative of the fact that I actually got to like live that out in real time. But that's crazy. And I'm also like, when we did the podcast with him, I remember saying the pink pants and he like went off on a tangent of being the pink pants. So I will take like unofficial credit for the fact that I got to kickstart that conversation on that episode, but it's crazy. And also he had the pink finger thing too. I don't know if that like was intentional or played a part, but he had like little pink finger wrap or whatever in the post-game presser, but shout out D Wade. I feel like D Wade kind of like kicked off like the little high fashion maybe in the NBA, like the high fashion.
I'd say
definitely. I think he mentioned like him and Melo were in first, or was it one of the first people at Fashion Week, according to them?
He and Melo went to Fashion Week in 2011, and I think they were the first basketball players to like. I don't know if I'm sure another basketball player went at some point, maybe like Tony Kukoc or like someone from Europe or something. But they were definitely the first players to go and like sit front row.
Pretty cool.
And now you can be like the Orlando Magic backup point guard and sit front row at Fashion Week. There's probably
we gotta stop getting Orlando. We gotta stop giving Orlando these strays. Because every time we like mention this talking point, it's always the Orlando Magic point guard. Orlando got to get a little bit more respect.
Orlando probably is like the most obscure NBA team. Them or maybe Indiana.
I was thinking of that the other day. I'm like, bro, I feel like if this expansion does happen, pretty sure it used to be the Minneapolis Lakers and the San Diego Clippers, unless I'm absolutely tripping. We got to get a team in San Diego. I know California's kind of like a little spoiled when it comes to like professional sports, but like Sacramento can get the boot. Like Sacramento does not. I've been to Sacramento. Sacramento does not deserve an NBA team. No disrespect. I'm sure the culture out there is amazing, but just like in geographic, you know what I'm saying, to California, someone who grew up in California, like I go to Sacramento, I'm like, bro, how do y'all function down here? So like, I don't know.
Like the beam.
Yeah. But yeah, either way, shout out D Wade.
Yeah. Shout out to D Wade. All right, next up, we'll talk about Sue Bird. She was the second WNBA player to be inducted right after Cappie Pondexter. Sue Bird was swaggy, especially in like the closing years of her career. Like she
Hmm.
definitely like went out on top. Like, you know what I mean? So I feel like a lot of like the older athletes, you know, dressing every single game is like a lot of effort. So like a lot of the guys kind of slowed down a little bit. This was like definitely not the case for Sue. Like some of her hardest outfits ever came in the last few years of her career.
Hmm.
Um, and I think probably my favorite Sue moment was when she her last All-Star game. I forget what city it was in. I think it might have been Chicago, but they had like two like media appearances, I guess, like two like orange carpet
Orange
moments.
carpet. Yeah, yeah.
And both moments she just like showed up, stunted out
Hmm.
W.
That's fire. Um. Oh yeah. One time for the athletes that like go out on a bang. You know, like the D Wades of the world, where like D Wade like started like dyeing his hair at post retirement, started getting cool tattoos. Tim Duncan, who I'm sure will be on this list too. But yeah, as far as Sue Bird, bro, like my favorite moment was like for sure the bubble and like her and Meg Rapinoe, who I'm pretty sure is her partner, unless I'm mistaken.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, one time for like the couples who like get fly together. You know what I'm saying? That's pretty cool. That's a pretty sick thing to be able to connect on. So that's my favorite moment. It's pretty fire.
Fun fact. Meg Rapinoe was like so fly at Sue Bird's WNBA bubble games, you know, during like the heat of the pandemic.
I think I know what you're gonna
She,
say.
she was just like running like League Fits engagement. Like she was getting more likes
Hmm.
than like everyone else who had hype at that time, which was like, you know, prime rookie Tyler Harrow and like some other guys. Anyway, Meg Rapinoe was just running up League Fits engagement. So
Hmm.
she's technically the only non-basketball player to ever get a League Fits award.
Yeah.
We just made one up. We were like what was that? Like summer 2021, I guess. Summer 2020.
2020,
2020.
2020, yeah,
Yeah.
2020,
So we were like
October-ish or something like that. Or
yeah, we just made a summer 2020 League Fits MVP award and gave it to her.
yeah, I'm looking at the highlight right now. The official thing was the League Fit Summer MVP, Megan Rapinoe. Pretty crazy.
Just some shit that we made up just to give
Yeah.
it to her, and then we never did it again. And I think we knew
Yeah.
we would never do it again.
Yeah. And the caption is, "I don't care if she hoops. Meg is your League Fit Summer MVP." No one can argue this though. This is like
Yeah.
objective information.
Facts.
That's dope.
Oh my gosh! Before we move on, though, I owed one more Sue moment because a lot
Yeah.
of the photos that we were posting were like some more recent stuff, which makes sense because like the WNBA didn't really start documenting the tunnel until like pretty recently. But I was like, we have to get like some older stuff in there. She was drafted in 2002. That's a year
She been
before
hooping.
yeah, that's a year before
LeBron
LeBron,
James.
D Wade, and Melo.
Mhm.
But anyway, so I was going through some of those older photos, and I'm sure you saw those too. These like 2004 like white backdrop like style photos, and like if you didn't know it was like Sue Bird, like it could have also been like promotion for like a Disney Channel show, like
Yeah, like a Macy's ad, Sears ad, or something.
that was a stray. No, that was
my
foul.
bad. My
You
fault,
just
dog,
did
my
her dirty.
fault. We're like
I
a
was making it
department
cool.
store. And you're watching the Disney Channel. It's like one of them ones.
Which is
like,
cool. You know, it's not cool being on the wall at Sears.
Sears, Mervyn's. Like,
But you know
department
what?
store
Being on the wall
swag.
of Sears in 2003 probably was sick.
No, it probably was, to be honest.
Dude, this is
I mean,
with like malls and department stores ran the world.
Dog, stop playing. Stop acting like this is. I'm gonna send you this one right now. Stop acting like this isn't a department store ad. That's crazy. No, but
You
yeah.
DMing it to me on League Fits or my account?
Your account. Either way, you feel me. It is what it is. But that's a whole Sears advertisement, son. This is back when the clothes had like no name, no brand recognition. It could have been anything.
Which is fire. That's literally what we talk about being sick today. Oh my gosh, I'm looking at this photo right now. This could be like a senior portrait.
It could be. She could play for like the volleyball team. She's just getting like her senior pictures in the summertime.
Yeah. Super did comment on this post with a bunch of laughing emojis. And then she said, sometimes memory lane is a bumpy trip. Shout out to the early 2000s. And then with the like, mwah, chef emoji. And then like the tongue out emoji. And I just want to let Sue know that it was not bumpy. These are fire. I don't care
Yeah,
what
a little
anyone
bit of
says.
appreciation. I
These
think
are
that's like
these are
the
sick.
yeah,
Dude,
that's like
like
the
the
double
first
edged
photo of
sword.
that gallery, she's
Yeah.
serving.
Oh yeah, with the little hand. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, like that is
Yeah.
like she could be a pop star. She could be the best point guard in WNBA history. She could be anything.
Yeah. I think that's the double edged sword of being so good at your craft that these like you're gonna have to like you're gonna have cool moments in 2019. We're also gonna have quote unquote cool moments that were cool at the time in 2002.
Quote unquote,
That's what
Joe.
no, what I'm saying. For her,
These
she said
are
bumpy
sick
road. She said
photos,
bumpy
bro.
road.
I'm
When
saying
you're
that
really
she's
good
wrong.
at something
It
for 19
wasn't
years, you
bumpy.
have to
It wasn't
it's gonna be
bumpy.
tough.
It wasn't bumpy. You look at like some other players, like other guys that've been in the league for so long, in like their early moments. Like you ever like scroll to the beginning of LeBron's Instagram page?
Oh, that's like one of my favorite pastimes.
Yeah, like it's like kind of I don't want to say cringy, but like it was just silly. It's silly now because it was just a different time. Like
Hmm.
Sue Bird, objectively, like there's like early 2000s mood boards and shit that are coming back because like that era is kind of becoming cool again. And if something was gonna go on the early 2000s Pinterest board, Tumblr post, whatever,
Hmm.
it's probably not gonna be like LeBron's early Instagram post or whatever. Like, but these Sue Bird pics, they're
They're
making
gonna
it.
make they're making the list. Shout out to the
Yeah.
Y2K.
Y2K.
Y2K movement. But
Yeah.
yeah, that's far.
Um, of course, the last guy that we inducted to the Hall of Fame saved him for last, and a lot of people were able to guess who was going to be inducted in because we had like a graphic that had the silhouettes of Kobe, Sue, Pat, and Dwayne, and a lot of people were guessing Pat based on the silhouette. A lot of people were guessing Dwayne. I don't know how. A lot of people got Sue. Not a lot of people. I don't think anyone actually guessed Kobe.
Kobe Bryant, yeah.
And I think it's probably just because and I feel like his silhouette's probably the easiest to recognize because he got a smooth bald head. Um, but like we all just
Oh man.
associate him with basketball so much, so it's hard to even think about him in a League Fit sense. Like
Hmm.
if League Fits was around when Kobe was like actively playing, I don't think Kobe would follow it or like give a shit. You know what I
Hmm.
mean?
Yeah.
Um, like the League Fits Hall of Fame induction probably doesn't matter to him. Um, but he was so fly, and I forget about that because when what's your favorite Kobe moment ever?
Like on the court?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean, though. It's going to be an on-court
Yeah.
moment, right?
Hmm.
Same here. My
Yeah.
favorite Kobe moment, probably his last game ever. To be honest, we all have favorite Kobe
Word?
moments, and it's low key, dude. I cried,
I mean, I cried too, but I don't think that was my favorite moment. Fun fact, Kobe
dude.
Bryant was the reason why I started watching basketball. Like I pivoted off of street skating because my uncle showed me the 2009 NBA Finals when he played against Dwight Howard. I was like, "Who's this guy?" And I was like, "His name's Kobe Bryant. He's like the best player." I was like, "This is crazy." I had never heard of him before that, but God rest his soul.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Right. Agreed. But yeah, so everyone's gonna say basketball moments, but despite like his basketball moments being like a 200 out of 10, like his outfits were still a 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
And there's so much range too. Like there's like first off, one of the best draft suits ever, and this is before like really giving a shit about your draft suit was a thing. The really early photos he had, like the vintage Adidas and like things
Mhm.
like that, like those portraits. Of course, like one thing that I feel like we were posting a lot through the Hall of Fame thing was guys in their like super sick championship shirts, because like a lot of like the 90s, NBA finals championship tees were just so much sicker than they are today. And then Kobe Bryant beat them all out because not only did he have like sick Lakers championship tees, he also had the Jeff Hamilton jacket, which honestly might be the most famous photo of Kobe Bryant ever. I'm gonna have to
Yeah.
guess.
Yeah.
I think that's like a probably safe bet to say.
Mhm.
And it's a fit pick. Kobe Bryant's
is a
most
fit pick.
iconic. Yeah, his most iconic photo ever is a fit pick. And
Yeah.
you could honestly argue that it's the most iconic fit pick in NBA history. You know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
if anyone's like, what's your favorite Jeff Hamilton jacket? Everyone's going to point to that Kobe Bryant one after the
Yeah.
2001 NBA Finals. So yeah, I think like Kobe Bryant was a super deserving guy. But yeah, anyway, the championship tees, and of course in the latter half of his career with the Lakers, bald head, 24 Kobe, his thing became the suits, right? And the
Yeah.
suits were always like so slick, especially even in like the 2010s, right? When a lot of guys were kind of struggling to, you know, make their suits look good. Like, because it was either like be super baggy like Allen Iverson, which is sick, or be super fitted. And anything in the middle just kind of looks kind of awkward, Tracy McGrady vibes. But Kobe Bryant was like a very, 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 very rare person that like looked so cool in suits in the 2010s.
Yeah, I can't even add anything to that. Like you killed it. You hit the nail on the head on that one. But
Yeah.
yeah.
That being said, still didn't name my favorite Kobe moment off the court. I was 5 years old when this happened, so I don't remember. And I honestly am mad that they swept this series. But in 2002, they played the New Jersey Nets in the finals. 4-0 sweep. In every single game, he showed up to the game wearing a jersey from a different sport, like an iconic athlete.
Really?
So yeah. So he did Joe Namath, I think was game one. He wore a Joe Namath jersey, New York Jets, Broadway Joe Namath. He wore a Wayne Gretzky jersey, Edmonton Oilers hockey. He wore the third game. He wore a Jackie Robinson Dodgers jersey. So baseball is checked off the mark. Then for game 4, the closeout game in New Jersey and in East Rutherford, he wore a Michael Jordan jersey, but he wore it with like also like this like warm-up shirt on
That's
top.
where that came from?
Mm-hmm.
I had no idea.
He wore that to the game. And then before the game, he has like a pregame meal, and I'm pretty sure it's like a chicken sandwich, like fries and ketchup. It's on LeagueFits right now. I honestly want to pull it up real quick. And yeah, so he has like waffle fries, a chicken sandwich, looks like a tall like soda, and he's
just
wearing,
like me for real. Yeah.
Facts. He's wearing the shades. He's got the watch on. He's got the Bulls jersey, the warm up. He's just smiling into the camera. I think the most iconic thing about this is this photo was taken before the game. He looks smug as shit.
He's hella comfortable, dog. I wonder what his stat looked like that night.
Like, he wasn't tripping at all about that game. Also, my man eating greasy food and sugar before the game.
Yeah,
but
he's
anyway,
drinking soda, dog. That's like,
yeah. So that's like the most iconic photo of them. Like all these fits are so iconic showing up to the game in the jerseys. But then the last one, eat just down in a chicken sandwich in a Mike jersey. So sick. So I'd say that's probably my favorite Kobe outfit moment.
I'm not gonna hold you. Kobe Bryant is probably the most like unrelatable person that I've ever like seen in the NBA. Like I don't have the killer mentality. I don't have the sit in the dark corner by myself and just like listen to Michael Myers music before the tip off. That was never my pregame routine. But just knowing that Kobe Bryant is literally, I'm looking at a picture of Kobe Bryant eating a chicken sandwich, drinking soda in a Michael Jordan jersey. I know so many other people who would want to do the same thing. So like that's pretty fire. I'm not gonna hold you.
Yeah.
That's probably
not only just do the same
thing,
but do the same thing before like an epic moment,
Yeah. That's fine.
Yeah. Kobe Bryant being unrelatable is probably the funniest thing you've actually said on this pod. You're like, I actually can't relate to Kobe Bryant at all. And I was thinking about it and I was like, shit, I probably can't either.
That's the cool thing too, because I remember when we were watching the Redeem Team documentary and everybody was like on the same type of vibe on that 2008 Olympic squad. And then D-Wade's like, yeah, and then we got Kobe Bryant. And then Kobe Bryant was like the freaking killer personified on that team. So like, even on that team, he was an outcast. But I think his whole thing was just like he wanted to be an outcast. Like he was just like sat by himself.
One of the rarest breeds of basketball players we've ever seen. I think when it comes to like players like that, it's him and Mike, and that's it.
Yeah, it's a great list to be on.
And you could argue Kobe was probably even more obsessed with basketball than Mike was.
I think he was the most obsessive person that ever played sports, but that's just me.
Well,
like, I really cannot basketball
because Michael Jordan is very obsessive. He's very obsessed with gambling, very obsessed.
Oh,
with
anything. He's one of them ones. Anything he does, he gotta be the best at it.
Yeah. He's just like an obsessive personality. Whereas like Kobe's just obsessed with basketball. But anyway, like
Yeah.
those two are two peas in a pod. But yeah, you could argue nobody was more obsessed with basketball than Kobe Bryant was, which is
For
why
sure.
like he doesn't come up in a lot of League Fits conversations. But you know, he probably should.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, some of these moments are proof of that. So I think, yeah, overall, the League Fits Hall of Fame thing has been, you know, so much fun rolling it out,
Yeah.
learning things, reminiscing. I think there's a good chance we bring this back. You know, maybe it's the summer, maybe it's next year. Off the dome, who's someone you would vouch
I've been
for
waiting
to
for you
make
to
it next
ask.
year?
I've been waiting for you to ask. I've been holding on to my answer this whole episode. We gotta get Tim Duncan in there, dog. We gotta get Tim Duncan in there. That's like my personal pick for non-active players. That's my personal pick, Tim Duncan.
And what's the photo? Do you know what photo you use?
The one that you reference all the time. I think he's getting his MVP trophy.
Oh, wearing the Birks, getting the MVP.
Wearing the Birks.
Wearing the Birkenstocks, accepting his NBA trophy.
That's like your favorite Tim Duncan photo.
Facts. Everyone always talks about Allen Iverson's effect on the like making the dress code a thing. But you could also argue that Tim Duncan showing up in Birkenstocks did accept his MVP trophy, played just as big of a role as getting 100%. The dress code started. And yeah, active players. Right now, Russell Westbrook is the only active player. If you had to, you think you could say, honestly, there's nobody worthy of being inducted actively. Like, you know, there's guys who will eventually, like Shea is obviously eventually going to make it, probably after his playing career. But like, is there anyone that you think would be worthy of an induction next year?
Because my thing is like, I want to look at the guys who like have years in the league. Because I don't want to just be on some like, oh, Shea. Because, you know, I think Shea's on his like 4th or 5th year. Shoot, that's really tough. I'm not going to hold you. Because I would want to say JC because I think he's playing in his like 8th or 9th year, which is like not normal to play 9 seasons. The NBA is a very hard thing to do. But I'll go with JC. I'll go with JC. Look, that's it.
Yeah.
He's got the hardware too, right? He's like in the MVP race every year.
Facts. Yeah, I think Jordan Clarkson, I don't know when he'll make it, but no matter what, he'll make it eventually. Go ahead. You just had a thought.
Chris Paul. My bad. That's my pick. Chris Paul, active player. I'm going with Chris Paul. I think he's in that same boat, banana boat. I couldn't
You're an idiot.
Could not do it. But yeah, his fits are pretty sick, so I'm going with Chris Paul.
Yeah. Interesting one. He does have some moments. Like he had like the HBCU, like remember the year that he wore like all the HBCU. I think it was like 2 seasons straight. He's wore like a ton of HBCU gear. Interesting pick. I don't know if I would induct an active player in, but so much can change in a year. But I think my one who probably like deserves to get on there is probably Tamara Young.
She's active though?
No, she's retired. She's not active.
Okay, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Ty Young was probably like one of the first left off of this class. And you could actually argue that she is the best dressed WNBA player ever.
That's an argument to have. That is an argument to have.
Like maybe Cappy was the first. Sue was I don't want to say loudest, but like got the most eyes. But like Ty Young was it. And Ty Young was like a WN player that was like on like, what was the show? Some like Atlanta reality show.
Yeah,
but anyway, like Ty like was like that swaggy. Was that swaggy motherfucker?
Yeah. Is there her nickname T Swaggy?
It is T Swaggy.
Friend of the pod. Yeah. Shout out friend of the pod. I think that's like the very first, if I'm not mistaken. That might have been the very first guest we've ever had.
Yeah. We love Ty, and she's from North Carolina. So no spoilers, but I think she's pretty solidly in the running.
I think everybody can agree with you on that one.
Yeah. Well, good memories. We're going to call it a wrap. So everyone knows you should subscribe to the pod. If you don't, subscribe. We're going to have some really cool guests this month. We are going to be announcing something very exciting next week about All-Star and why the NBA All-Star team is the second most important All-Star team. And we're also switching to once a week, and we pretty much every week we're gonna have a guest for you. So stay solid. I love you. And Joe, I have a nickname for you.
All right, talk to me.
You know how when you get into the Hall of Fame they give you a gold jacket?
Yes.
Joe Jacket.
Not bad. I like alliteration. I am a fan.
Yeah.
If you look back,
Yeah.
a lot of alliteration nicknames. All right, I'll take it. Joe Jacket signing off. Episode 121 in the butts. Riley Fitted, baby. Let's go.
21 Chrome Hearts. Peace.